All righty. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report, along with Ross Benjamin of Ross Benjamin Sports for a Monday morning. How you doing, Ross?
I'm doing great, Ron. Great weekend at home and with my picks as well. So been absolutely on fire with my paid picks lately, Ron. I've 10 of the last 12 days have been winning ones, 25 and 12 over that time, 16 and 7 with my last 23 in Major League Baseball. And as we were talking off air, 3-1 yesterday. My only loser was the Chicago White Sox, plus 140, who lost in 10 innings. So I can't complain in that regard, Ron. So, again, folks, you can get my picks right at atsstats.com. I don't know if Ron's still got his special going on, 20% off, but no better time than now.
Yeah, you seem to be sitting a little higher today. You must be sitting on all that gold you won there.
Yeah, exactly. all the money that I've
that wallet, you got the George Costanza.
Yeah, exactly. I got my wallet in my back pocket, so it's a little bit thicker today.
Yeah, the George Costanza wallet. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
George takes out that friggin' telephone book of a wallet. Great selections. 25 and 12 overall. 16-7 MLB, 6-2 in the last 8. Ross, you're killing it. Major League Baseball, I'm 8-3 in my last 3 days. 3-1 also yesterday. Had a great angle in that Milwaukee, Minnesota, Kansas City game. Was 0-13-1 to the under, and sure enough, it came in. That was a nice one. That was one of our featured plays, along with some of your selections at ATS Stats. And you know what? Hockey. I took a day off yesterday in hockey. Had the Flyers on Saturday against Washington, I think it was. That was a nice win. Pretty good day, or Montreal too. So, I got burnt on that Columbus game Saturday night.
Yeah, was that a burn. 3-0 lead with less than 4 minutes to go in a playoff game. With a stifling defensive team like Columbus, they blow that lead. That's amazing. And then Toronto's got to rub it in then they lose the next night. You would think a team, that's something we were talking about Toronto off air. That's a mess there.
Well, you know what? I believe in karma, and Foligno got his last revenge last night that game when Riley, good thing Don Cherry's not on air because he'd be going off right now. What Foligno did to, he stepped on the guy's stick to take a penalty. And then
overtime.
You don't do that to a veteran like Foligno. Like, you don't do it ever, but to do it to a wily vet like Foligno. And, man, I felt for the guy because that was a Bush League move that he did on him. And then, for them last night, they said, all right, game 5, we'll put it in our back pocket. And sure enough, Columbus came out, shut the door, 3-0 win. And fitting that Foligno got the winner in overtime. It gave me goosebumps and karma right there.
Yeah, now, for the listeners, if they're not going back to what Ron said, that game in which Columbus blew the 3-0 lead, it went to overtime. Toronto tied it with 3 goals, pulling a goalie, extra man advantage on every goal, which is unheard of. And then they call a penalty, a very questionable penalty on Nick Foligno in overtime that resulted in a goal about 10 seconds later by Austin Matthews. So, revenge is sweet, right, Ron?
Oh, absolutely. And we'll talk about that at the end of the show, Ross. Today we're going to do MLB, and we're going to give our MLB series prices on the NHL. This is, to me, is like Christmas morning when it comes to NHL playoff. Round 1 is where I make my money betting on NHL hockey, because right now we're getting into that other league, and that's the playoffs. And there's two, apples and oranges. Apples are regular season, oranges are playoffs. And to me, goaltending and defense wins championships, and we'll get to that at the end of today's show. Now, Ross, each and every day when we do the Rain Report, we look at the SBI, the Sports Betting Index, and there's old Harper there. Hey, he's got the crew.
He's a rock and roller from way back.
Yeah, he'd be. You know what? Gene Simmons would take him in a Kiss band any day, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Don't tell me he doesn't look like a guy from being Kiss or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the dashboard. Actually, you know what? I got it up right here. Pull the rabbit right out of the hat, right here, Ross, on a Monday morning.
Right.
All right, Monday. Monday's a fun day, and it ends with Y, and so does money. Now, looking at the bull, like Ross, you know what? Favorites, the books must be crying in their beer because the favorites has absolutely destroyed them since day one here, July 23rd, when we got going. They've had 4 losing days, and we're talking by 1 or 2 games, 6-9, 7-8, 7-9, and 6-9. But look at that yesterday. And grab a glass of milk because we had a lot of chalk to eat there yesterday. 12-3 to the favorites and the unders. Ross, look at this column right here for the unders.
Yeah, it continues. I know. Yeah.
It's just, right now the hitting, people need to subscribe to RoyHobbs.com and get that because right now those bats are pretty. I was watching that game yesterday with the Toronto Blue Jays in Boston, and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. swung at a pitch that I swear to God, I looked at my wife. I go get my 9-iron because I got to send it to Boston because he's swinging at stuff in the dirt that he just shouldn't be swinging at.
But his dad was like that too, if you remember right, Ron. Oh, yeah. He was a free swinger, and he got more base hits out of pitches out of the zone and golfing low pitches for a base hit than anybody. So it doesn't – a little bit of hereditary traits there. If I could just add in on our chart here, again, the majority of that damage with the favorites is coming with – as far as the books taking a hit, is coming with those Major League Baseball favorites of -106 to -150. Again, they went 3-1 yesterday, and those favorites within that parameter, Ron, they've been going under the total at a high 60% rate. Oh, wow. So, between what you just alluded to, how well the favorites are doing, and the unders, I don't know, folks. Sooner or later, it's got to turn.
Yeah, this is like I say all the time in these shows, like catching a fallen knife. But you know what? I'm going to continue riding the under until otherwise because, there's a rule. Have a rule with streaks. Don't mess with them unless you're going to ride it. And if you're new to sports gambling, this is the Rain Report along with Ross Benjamin, which you can find us each and every day right here on our YouTube channel. You can go on the OSGA channel for Ross, and you can find the Rain Report by typing ATS Stats or Rain Report or wherever you download your favorite podcast. And guys, the Rain Report, is on top of all this also. And Ross, the favorites, the unders, I don't know, man. I think I'm just going to continue riding these favorites out until, otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of chalk bettors out there that really aren't seeking any help right now, Ron. That's for sure. As far as advice goes, I mean, they're no-brainer their way through this process.
Yeah, so let's kick it off, Ross, with that first game on deck. Fourth game of a series here between the Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies. Now the Phillies going to send Aaron Nola, one of the pitchers we like here. We've talked about him a few times against Sean Newcomb of the Atlanta Braves. Now Atlanta 11-6 on the year, 4-6 for the Phillies. The Heartbreak Kid is going to have to start getting maybe tuning in that bandana a little bit more and start getting some W's for his team. But Ross, looking at the line of this game, 149 for Philly, getting a lot of respect here. My price is an underdog price at 145 compared to 130 for the Braves. So I think we're getting great value on Atlanta. Sean Newcomb, they're 2-1 in his starts this season. I might be leaning towards the Braves here.
Yeah, you know what? I tend to agree with you, Ron. I mean, look, Newcomb has not looked good in his first 3 starts of the year. Or is it 2? 2 starts, I'm sorry. 3 starts. Actually.
3 starts, yeah. They're 2-1 in the starts.
Yeah, 6.57 ERA, not very impressive. But keep this in mind, folks. This current Philadelphia roster against Sean Newcomb in their careers combined are 8 for 54, which is a 148 batting average. That makes Atlanta, in my opinion, very dangerous in this spot. Also, the Atlanta bullpen has performed much better than the Philadelphia bullpen by a long shot. I mean, I would think the value here would be on the underdog, but then again, the underdogs aren't really cashing.
Yeah, and the Kogo, obviously, with the SBI, the sports betting index we talked about, the Kogo, until things balance out, you got to go by team. Right now, 65% of chance this game going over. Computer pick all over Atlanta, 5.95, 4.42, the over-under at 10.37. Now, a team that had to get on a red eye last night after a little rain delay in Chicago against Cleveland. One of the bad beats that you had last night, Ross, but was the only blemish on your day, right? Looking at today's game, you got Dallas Keuchel going up against Michael Fulmer. Gardy's got him playing good Detroit basketball. I always go with that Detroit basketball team. They say at their basketball games. Yeah. Detroit baseball, 8-5 on the year for Detroit. 8-8 for the Chicago White Sox. Now, Computer pick going to lean with the White Sox here, 4.68, 3.68, the over-under 8.36. But, Ross, this is a trap game in your mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything, when I look at this game, all the statistics as they apply to my handicapping theories, I'll lean towards Chicago. However, it's a situation that scares me here, which is going to make me stay away. As you alluded to, Ron, these teams that play on Sunday night and have to travel the next day, it's one thing playing a Sunday night game and then being at home the next night, but playing a Sunday night game and then going on the road the next day is a very tough task. And usually it results in tired bats. Doesn't affect the pitching so much because Dallas Keuchel was probably in Detroit yesterday already. That's the way they do things in Major League Baseball. So not only did they play Sunday night, but as Ron touched upon, they had a rain delay for an hour and a half in the middle of the 10th inning. Just to complete the last 2 outs of the game. So they got on, like Ron said, a red eye late, and now they're going on the road to face a Detroit team that's playing, pretty well right now. Who would have thought at this point that Detroit would be 8-5? Albeit, let's keep things in perspective. Their wins have come over Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Cincinnati, and all three of those teams right now as we speak have losing records.
Exactly, and that's where I was going looking at the rain report here. The strength of schedule for the Detroit Tigers in the last 7 games, 32.6%, their strength of schedule opponent. So, again, the Pittsburgh 3-13 on the year, so they're beating the beatables, and hey, you know what? If you can win those games like you're supposed to win those games, and now you're going to be facing a pretty good pitcher in Dallas Keuchel today. Again, I like Chicago. I just don't like that situation that you brought up. Makes me want to, be weary a bit. But maybe it's something that the audience, maybe they like or not. But or maybe the total. Looking at the Kogo is at 45%, 8.36. I don't know. Maybe it's a game I stay away from.
Yeah, another statistic that really scares me away from even thinking about using Detroit is they're 14-50 at home since last year as a home underdog of plus 100 or greater.
Yeah.
So,
Next.
Yeah, exactly.
Washington taking the New York Mets. This game will be played at Citi Field tonight. First pitch, 7:10. Now you got Steven Matz going up against Patrick Corbin for the Washington Nationals, who are the defeated champions here, undefeated champions of last year. 4-8 on the season. 83% chance of winning today for Washington, 45 for the Mets. Mets are 7-9 on the year. The bookmakers given the respect to the defending champions, 117. The over-under set at 8.5. Forecast, going to lean with Corbin here, 5.29, 4.27. The over-under at 9.56. Looking at the Kogos at 68%. The Mets on a 2-game win streak, while Nationals on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean toward the over here a little bit, Ron, if it wasn't for the fact that Washington can't hit their way out of a paper bag right now. Steven Matz, 5.65 ERA, and he's given up 5 home runs in 14 and 1/3 innings pitched, and the wind's blowing out tonight at Citi Field. So, interesting game to handicap.
Yeah, the under this season, Ross, when the total for home teams that's 8.5, 11-21-0 goes with the SBI. So little tidbit there, courtesy of the rain report.
Yeah, and then also what's Washington? You said a minus 117 favorite right now, so it falls in that category of 106 to 150, and the unders are around 68% with favorites of 106 to 150 this year. So,
wow. I'm just trying to see if there's anything backing that up in the. Looking at the next game here, you got Tampa Bay against the Boston Red Sox. My only loss in baseball yesterday was I had the Blue Jays plus 137, I think, and sure enough, Moreland. It was Moreland that hit that 2-run shot in the bottom of the ninth. Got him to win, and you got to give credit to teams that step up. And I remember watching that game, and in the top of the ninth, I said, if they don't get a run here, that's it. It's over. And sure enough, minus 145 is the price here today on Tampa Bay. The over-under set at 9.5. ATS forecast, the computer pick. Going to lean with the Bull Sox here. 4.68, 4.4. The over-under at 9.08. So it does like it to go under the total. However, 67% chance this game going under the total, over the total. That's because the Red Sox have played 5 straight games that went under the total. And you know what? They're not hitting. Toronto wasn't hitting. man, you could have laid like a 6.5, like a 7-inning number here on those two teams. But looking at Ryan Yarbrough here, 1-2 in the year, the under 3-0 in his starts this year for the Rays, who are coming off a pretty good, decent outing against the Yankees, 4-3 win yesterday, but 8-8 against 6-9. Not the same Bull Sox team, right, Ross?
No, not at all. I mean, if you're looking at just look at the under numbers as Ron touched upon and how they're not hitting. The Red Sox have gone under the total in 5 straight. I think you mentioned that, in 8 of their last 9. One thing in 6-1-1 under the total at Fenway Park. Wow. That goes hand in hand with the high totals. And their pitching's improved a little bit over the last week, so keep that in mind, Ron.
Yep.
But you also got to look at the fact that Ryan Yarbrough, a very good pitcher, and Ron just touched upon 3-0 under in his first 3 starts of the year. The Red Sox current roster, 36 for 120 against Yarbrough in their careers. That's a 300 team batting average and a 921 OPS, which that's a combination of on-base percentage and slugging percentage. And anything 800 or above is very good. They're at 921. So another game this is a really tough card today.
Yeah, Tampa Bay not in a good spot here, Ross. As a road favorite this year, 0-3, and 0-3 versus Southpaws on the road. So maybe Boston, a little bit of line value here at plus 125 is maybe a lean you want to do. Go on. 47% chance of winning according to the law of average theory of the Rain Report, compared to 42% for the Rays. So Ross, I might be leaning towards the Bull Sox here at Fenway.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Ron, they're coming off a series against the Yankees in which they took 3 out of 4. You know what I mean? So they're climbing back in that race all of a sudden. So there might be a little bit of a mental letdown, if there's such a thing in baseball, going into Fenway Park tonight. So
I see Lindy Ruff here, buddy.
There you go. Lindy at home. Or Ruff at home and Lindy on the road.
Hey, I'm just saying, Baltimore starts with letter B. I'm just saying. 0-3 with the last couple weeks ago.
Poor Lindy Ruff. He's a great guy. I met him once. Great personality.
Kidding, Lindy, if you're listening.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure he's listening, right? Minnesota Twins taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Minus 107 is the price here on the Brew Crew. 8.5 is the over-under. Now, Randy Dobnak with a really good ERA here this season up against Adrian Hauser. The computer all over the Twins here, 5.54, 4.5, the over-under at 10.04. 51% chance of this game going over the total. And don't look now, but Minnesota on a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're sailing along, and then they lose the last game of the Pittsburgh series, who are 3-13, and then they go into a 3-game series against the 4-9 at the time Kansas City Royals, and they get swept. Go figure. And you think it's easy, folks? Try sitting in my seat or Ron's seat, because that's the kind of thing that makes you scratch your head, and that's why you stay away from big favorites in Major League Baseball or any money line wagering. One thing, Minnesota this year, they're averaging a little over 1.5 home runs per game. In Milwaukee, since the start of last season, 32-14 under the total at home when facing an opponent that averages 1.5 or more home runs per game.
Arizona taking on the Colorado Rockies. Now, Rockies having a good year, 11-4 on the season, sending John Gray to the hill tonight against Robbie Ray. First pitch, 8:40 Eastern. Now, the bookmakers have made the Rockies a 125 favorite, over-under set 11.5. ATS forecast, the computer pick, going with Colorado, 6.26, 5.82, the over-under at 12.08. Just a little reminder of that number. Hello, Coors Field. And looking at the over-under, 4-11 for the Rockies today. Very unlike Colorado to see an unders like that, especially, when the course is your home field, 6-9-1. But Robbie Ray, if I do recall in his last start, I think he beat the Dodgers or the Padres. I can't remember, but it was a good outing. I think I'll have to bring up that stat. But looking at the computer pick here, Ross, 5.82, 6.26, the over/under at 12.08. And looking at Robbie Ray here, his last game he pitched was against Astros. Yeah, 14-7. I knew it was a public team. Not a good team, but this year, but Houston's still a public team. When it comes to perception reality, come to the line. But Robbie Ray, only 1-2 for the D-backs this season. It starts.
Yeah, with a 9.45 ERA and a 1.95 WHIP, so not very good start to the year for Robbie Ray. But he's been a great a small home under or a road underdog, excuse me, Ron, in his career. As a matter of fact, Robbie Ray is 30-13 with this team, 43 team starts as a road underdog of between plus 100 and plus 150, which he falls in that category tonight. But again, buyer beware. He has not pitched well to start the season. And this is an Arizona bullpen also that's given up 10 home runs already this year. And that's not a good sign when you're going into Coors Field.
Yeah, here's the good news. You're going to Coors tonight. But here's the other good news. You got a great DJ named Robbie Ray, so you got a good good after.
Might be better off having Rob Ray from the former Buffalo Sabre pitching tonight.
Rob Ray.
Yeah.
I remember watching him when he played in the Cornwall Royals, too, in junior hockey. San Francisco taking on the Houston Astros now. The Stros, a minus 205. Got a little heated there yesterday in Oakland against the A's. But, hey, you know what? They got a bullet on their back since day one of since all that controversy in the offseason. That's going to happen, and it's not going to stop. And like I listened to ESPN this morning, and the guys were saying, "Hey, Dusty, how do you like that new job you got?" Always coming in and cleaning house here. But you're looking at today, Ross, computer pick, going with the Giants here, 4.36, 3.69, the over-under at 8.05, 63% chance of winning for the Giants compared to 80% for the Astros, who are on a 5-game losing streak, 6-9 on the year, 41% chance this game going over the total. Total here, Ross, 8.05 according to the rain report. You know what? Maybe the under is a play here, though. But again, we got to see who is going to be on the hill here for the Giants.
Yeah, one of my winners yesterday, I went against the Astros. I actually took Oakland minus 1.5 plus 130 on the run line yesterday. So I was quite pleased, and that loss make 5 in a row now for Houston. They've dropped 5 straight. All of those came on the road. Now they return home. Ron, that bullpen of Houston again. I made the point on Friday. I'll make it again. Over their last 7 games, the Houston bullpen, a 190 whip. Remember, I said to take a look at whip as opposed to ERA. And then you look at their bullpen ERA on the season. It's in the low 3s, but the whip is over 160. So, again, Ron, Houston's bullpen, to me, is very shaky.
Yeah. No, and you know what? It's just, again, losing all those Garrett Cole in the offseason, Verlander on the shelf. It puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen if they got to come in early in games. And you're right. The numbers are, what do you say? Numbers don't lie and figures or something like that?
Yeah. Numbers don't lie and liars don't figure.
So there you go. Seattle taking on the Texas Rangers. Now the Rangers, a 183 favorite, coming off a pretty good weekend series against LA. I think they swept the Halos 3-0.
Yes, they did.
So you know what? Minus 183 price. So they're getting a little respect here tonight against the Seattle Mariners, who are coming off a 5-3 win to be able to salvage that series against the Rockies by getting at least one win. And the over-under set 8.5. Forecast here, Ross, again, leaning with Texas, 4.41, 4.26, the over-under at 8.67. Kyle Gibson getting the call here for the Texas Rangers against Justin Dunn. 6-11 on the year for the Seattle Mariners, 6-8 for the Texas Rangers. And the Kogo here, Ross, is at 58%. And in the rain report, we had both teams in dog money prices. So Texas Rangers overvalued here tonight against Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, and a lot of money went that way early on Texas, and that scares me away from this game. Seattle, I'm not willing to take a risk with them either. Their bullpen is horrible. Kyle Gibson has pitched very well in his first 2 games, posting a 2.45 ERA while doing so. And Justin Dunn in 2 starts, 6.43 ERA. Everything points to Texas, but there's no way I'm laying that kind of price or even thinking about a run line play against a team other than yesterday who's been struggling offensively at home.
Well, I'm going to use my perception versus reality card here, Ross. The perception is you just swept the Halos. You think you got things turned around. Seattle 6-8, 11 on the season. Texas 6-8. 2 losing teams in the rain report Vic performance cycle. C neutral against a C bearish type team. I can see the public being all over Texas here. I might take a lean here on Seattle and maybe some beer money type thing, but nothing crazy. But again, Texas is not one of those, it's not Colorado, it's not Oakland that they would deserve that type of respect. So I think my dog money would go on Seattle tonight. Oakland taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Papa Trout not going to be happy over the performance. He will be happy. He had a good weekend, but the team wasn't that well. And you know what? Maybe the little, we gave him a little wake-up call last week, a little bit of questioning, and sure enough, Papa Trout just came out and just hammered the Rangers this weekend, but the rest of the team didn't follow. Oakland, what can you say about the Oakland A's? 12-4 in a year. I think it's the Major League best record right now. And looking at the price tonight, the bookmaker's giving them no respect. Rodney Dangerfield price right here, no respect. 123, over under set at 9.5. ATS forecast, the computer pick going with Oakland, Moneyball, 5.12, 3.3, the over under at 8.42. Julio Teheran going for the Angels up against Sean Manaea of the Oakland Athletics.
I will have a free pick at the end of the show on this particular game.
Fantastic. San Diego taking on the LA Dodgers. Now the Dodgers, a 150 price here, Ross, and the over-under set at 8.5. ATS forecast, the computer pick, gonna lean with the LA Dodgers, 4.41, 4.2, and the over-under at 8.61. One of my favorite pitchers here going for the LA Dodgers, Dustin May, against Garrett Richards. I was watching MLB Network, and Harold Reynolds had a great line this weekend. He goes, watching Dustin May is like playing wiffle ball. He goes, that ball just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And I thought it was such a great line. 11-5 for the record, 47% chance this game going. Believe it or not, coming off 3 pushes. The LA Dodgers coming off 3 pushes. I don't know, man. This is, to me, 150 is my borderline. That's my cap if I'm going to take the Dodgers. I like Dodgers at home. I like Dustin May. If I was going to play a little bit of chalky, I think this is where I'd lean.
Dustin May, not bad, huh? 3 starts this year. A very good ERA, 2.64. Garrett Richards, how about this, Ron? In his career, he's made 16 starts as a road underdog of between plus 125 and plus 175. His teams have gone 1-15 in those games in his career.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. Okay, Ross, we're going to go right into the NHL. Now, I shopped around this morning, and I didn't see a lot of books out with futures price, but I did find one book. Bet Now is a sports book that is on our website. And
that's what you should do if you're listening to Ron's picks.
Yeah. Guys, I've been doing NHL hockey now. This is my 24th season. This is where I find a lot of great value in the first round of hockey in the first, because there's 2 seasons, the apples and oranges. You got apples regular season, oranges playoffs. And again, I'll say it again, and I said it before, you got to handicap hockey the back end out. You got to go start from goaltender, go to defense, and then, Toronto Maple Leafs is a perfect example of what you're not in the playoffs. They're front loaded, and they got nothing on the back end. And credit to Freddie Anderson. Hey, they left him hanging there. That defense in Toronto was atrocious. They got nothing to give him any help. And the whole Leafs front line, Marner was MIA. Austin Matthews, he did his best. He got his opportunities, but Tavares, they were there in the third and fourth line never showed up. So that's why Toronto is now hitting the golf course.
I mean, they got shut out twice in a 5-game series with that kind of offensive firepower and the money those guys are making as far as their forwards go. No excuse whatsoever. Very disappointing for the Leafs.
Yeah. So right now we got Tampa Bay gonna face the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now Columbus obviously coming off that emotional Game 5 win yesterday against the Toronto Maple Leafs. These are games that scare me a bit because Game 5 you just won. You're emotional. I haven't seen the schedule out yet. This is early Monday. The game was Sunday night. So if you're listening to us on the podcast, we're still gathering information on the series, but we do have the prices, Ross. And the Lightning had the best record in the NHL last season, not this season, last season, and they were, I think it was 4 straight against Columbus.
Yes, they got swept. 128-point regular season last year, prohibitive favorite They played a number 8 seed Columbus Blue Jackets and get swept 4-0. That's a great thing about the NHL playoffs, Ron. You hardly ever, I think it's only been done twice in the NBA where an 8 seed has beat a number 1 seed. And I'm not saying it happens regularly in the NHL, but it happens a lot more frequently. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Now, Columbus, a plus 185 price here against Tampa Bay. Lightning, minus 225. Now, Tampa Bay, no Stamkos. Kucherov looked all right in the round robin series. Looking at the lineups here for Tampa Bay, Braden Point, Kucherov, Hedman. Now, Hedman got a bit banged up on his last game, so I don't know what his status is going to be for the series. You're going to need Hedman if you're going to beat Columbus. But right now, Ross, Korpisalo for the Columbus Blue Jacket has looked really good. You know what? And Torts, you got an experienced coach behind the bench in John Tortorella. You got a gritty team led by Nick Foligno, his brother Mike, or no, his dad is Mike.
Yep.
And there's another Foligno. Man, there's Folignos everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But give me,
the other Foligno's in Minnesota. Yep.
Yeah. Give me Columbus Blue Jackets all day here, plus 185. I think this is going to be, obviously there's no home and home here, but this is going to turn in the first game of these series is always a fill-out series, to establish your physical presence. And right now, Tampa Bay can be physical. They got Coleman. They got some guys who can, Gord. They got guys who can really bring it too. But at the end of the day, Vasilevsky, good goaltender. Not going to take any credit away from that. Very good goal. He had he looked pretty good in the last couple of games. But give me Columbus and Korpisalo and the gritty Blue Jackets here as an upset in round 1 against.
Yeah, I would never lay 225 in a series with anybody. There's just no value there. Again, I'm leery from the standpoint that they got swept last year. So there's going to be a little bit of motivation edge there for the Lightning. And quite frankly, I hate to see the Blue Jackets win this series. I have nothing against you, Ron. I just think they're the most boring team in hockey to watch. They give them credit. I mean, they clog up the neutral zone, and they take very little risk. They're counter punchers offensively, and hey, it's what it takes to win in the playoffs. And the last 2 years, it's proven they're capable of an upset. There's no two ways about it.
Hello? Yeah, he's right here. Ross, I got Jacques Lemaire, New Jersey Devils, line 1.
Hey, Jacques. I just want to let you know, now Lindy Ruff is your coach there. And
yeah. Oh, hey, but, boring hockey, the trap hockey, New Jersey style hockey back in the day. Yeah. That's
left
the type
wing lock.
Yeah, the left wing lock. And that's, get a lead and then sit on it, right? That's what Columbus will do. But yeah, no, it's I won't lay 225 on a Lightning team either. To me, Lightning remind me a lot like in baseball, the Atlanta Braves back in the 90s. Great regular season team. Just send me a postcard when you're done in 4. That's just my opinion. I don't think Tampa Bay, and I could eat crow, who knows? But my money is going to be on Columbus. Calgary Flames taking on the Dallas Stars. Now Dallas, has not looked really good in this return. I know they won yesterday in overtime, but looking at Calgary, I'm just going to bring up. So, Ben Bishop has to be determined here. You got Hudobin, looking at their lineup, Radulov, Hines, Jamie Benn, Pavelski. They look like an old team to me right now. Yeah. Corey Perry. This is a very old Dallas team. I'd be shocked if they got out of this series. If they do, I don't see them going far. They just don't have the depth. They don't have the, this is a young man's league now, young legs. You look at the stars in this league, Connor McDavid, the Johnny Gaudreaus. These are young guys who can just skate like the wind. And you're looking at the Calgary Flames. They got a pretty good duo system going with Rittich and Talbot in nets. Got Giardino, Brody on the back end. Sean Monahan played here in Ottawa, the 67. Matthew Tkachuk, the instigator. He could really hurt this team if he starts up with his antics and gives Dallas those power. That's the only reason why I probably would be very wary. I like Calgary to win this series. I think it's a great price at 115. If Calgary loses, and I hate to say this, but it's probably because the opportunities that they're going to give them because of bonehead penalties by players like Kachuk who just sometimes they don't think for the team, right? And then those players can be dangerous to your nucleus when you're in the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to be disciplined at this time of year. Dallas finished the regular season slate terribly. Went 1-2 here in the round robin format, but their only win, like Ron touched upon, was that shootout win yesterday against St. Louis. If you look at the back end out, like you're saying, Ron, Dallas does play very good defense if you look at their statistics throughout the course of the year. So that's the only reason why I would have a lean toward them. The Flames coming off that 3-1 series win over a banged-up Jets team, a team that was undermanned, that had a lot of key players out. This is a really tough call for me.
Yeah, no, it looks like boring hockey to me. I hate to say that, but Flames and Stars won't get me out of my seat like some of these other teams. Now, here's a team no one wants to play right now: the Carolina Hurricanes. Plus 130, get no respect from the bookmakers. Boston Bruins minus 150. Boston must have left that offensive bag in Boston, because right now they're not scoring. They're averaging almost like a goal a game right now during these 4 round robins. They're not getting the offensive firepower from Bergeron, Krejci, Marchand, Chara. What is he, like 82 now? It's like, hey, you love Zdeno Chara. Gritty, great captain, sticks up for his teammates all the time. But, the age is there. Yeah. The birth certificate don't lie. Tuukka Rask, he'll steal you some games. You got Halak who can come in and if you're having a bad day. But if you fall behind this Carolina Hurricanes team and you don't get on them early, it could be lights out, because this team will play like their coach, Rob Brind'Amour. Brind'Amour, back in the day, best face-off guy in the league. Gritty, third liner, second liner, just brought it. Physical. They got Sebastian Aho for the Hurricanes, and looking at their lineup, Teravainen, pretty good. Niederreiter, give me Carolina plus 130 in this series.
Yeah, I agree. They're a nice value here. And this line speaks volumes after the regular season that the Bruins had. One would have to wonder if they didn't go 0-3 in this round robin format. Excuse me, Ron. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, Boston Bruins.
If they didn't go 0-3 in this round robin format, one would have to wonder what the Bruins line would be at this particular time. I would think it would be more like 180. And again, the Hurricanes are a version of the Columbus Blue Jackets, with the exception of they have more offensive talent.
Yeah. One thing though, Ross, that I've noticed is that some of this, let's look at the environment these teams are in, right? And some of them are adapting and some aren't. And right now it looks like Boston is not adapting to this sometimes a layoff like this really hurt your team. And I think it's hurt the Boston Bruins. And now you're going to face a hot Carolina Hurricanes team who are playing outstanding hockey right now. Carolina plus 130 to me is probably my best bet on the weekend. Looking at this game now, Ross, you got the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Golden Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, Chicago plus 265, Vegas 325, huge favorite. I would love to take Chicago here. Just absolutely love. I love what Jonathan Toews is doing. But when I look at this series here, I'm going to go to what got me here as a handicapper, and that's goaltending. And give me Martin Fleury, or the Flower, all the time over
Corey Crawford.
Marc-Andre Fleury. I keep thinking when Crosby was interviewed, he kept talking about Fleury. I keep calling him Martin Fleury. I don't know why. It's Marc-Andre Fleury. But who's Martin Fleury? That must be, I don't know. Something throwing me off here. But Chicago Blackhawks, Corey Crawford. You know what? Hey, you got to respect the Chicago Blackhawks. They've won Stanley Cups when they were there with Quenneville. They still got Kane. They still got Toews. The back end is not as solid as it once was. They're getting a little bit older on the back end. Duncan Keith. Let me see. Calvin DeHaan's there now. Brent Seabrook's out. And you know what? Malcolm Subban's their backup if Corey Crawford doesn't do well. But give me Vegas in this series. I'm not paying 325, but I think this will be, I look at that series against Edmonton. It was run and gun. The Vegas Golden Knights, they can run and gun with you, but they got some guys that can calm things down. I really love this Jonathan Marshall guy, William Karlsson. But, you got Ryan Reeves who can cool down the heads if things get out of hand. But I think Vegas takes them in 5.
Yeah, I mean, the last time these teams played a couple years ago, I believe the Golden Knights swept them, if I'm not mistaken, or 1-5. And that was a much better Blackhawks team that they're facing now. One thing about Corey Crawford, he was terrible in the first 4 games of the Edmonton series, but then he came up big in the deciding Game 5. I think he had 43 saves in that game, which wins at this time of year. But Marc-Andre Fleury, Ron, I'm not as crazy about him as you are. It's either feast or famine with him. I remember him costing Pittsburgh, very good Pittsburgh teams, a couple of playoff series back in their heyday. So it's going to be real interesting, and we'll know early on how Marc-Andre Fleury is going to play in these playoffs. He's done awfully well as a member of the Golden Knights. There's no two ways about it, but there's that still lingering doubt in my head as far as that goes.
And that's a good point. And you got 2 goaltenders who won Stanley Cups, so this will be a very interesting matchup. And if Chicago does win, it'll be because of Jonathan Toews and his golden stick right now. We're gonna breeze through the other ones here, Ross. We got the Islanders taking on the Capitals. Washington right now does not look right. I don't know what's up with Ovechkin. He doesn't he's having a good tournament, not a great tournament, but there's something wrong with Ovi. He doesn't look right. Braden Holtby, to me, is a good goaltender. He's average at best in my view. I know he's won a Stanley Cup, but right now I don't think he's the guy that's going to lead Washington out of the East. I've taken the Islanders on October 2nd of the last year. I put $300 on the New York Islanders to win the Stanley Cup, and probably some good hedging opportunities coming up to win 8,400. So I've got the Islanders on a futures ticket, and I'm going to ride them out here against Washington.
I agree. Look, the Islanders finished the regular season sort of shaky, but they got their act back together. An easy 4-game series win over Florida. And they're that type of team, the way they play, their style, Ron, is conducive to winning playoff hockey. They counterpunch sort of, again, along the lines of Columbus, but in my estimation, a little more talent than Columbus has across the board. So, yeah, I like the Islanders in this series at that price.
Yeah. Arizona taking on Colorado. Now, minus 270, plus 230 for Arizona. Now, if Arizona is going to win this series, Darcy Kemper is going to have to stand on his head and stop about 40, 50 shots a night. I don't see that happening. I got Colorado maybe sweeping the Yotes here. Nathan McKinnon, Landeskog, Philip Grubauer, Frank Kuz, the backup goalie. I don't know if he's got any games in this round robin, but 2 capable goaltenders. But I'm not laying that price, so give me Colorado in about 4 here.
Yeah, right now I would take Colorado to win the Stanley Cup at this moment in time. So having said that, congratulations. It's been a nice year, Arizona. I don't see this series going any more than 5 games.
Yeah. And you know what, to Rick Tocchet, tough head coach, former Flyer and former, tough guy. They're in over their heads against a talented team. Now, Montreal Canadiens, Philadelphia Flyers. This is going to be a great series. Now, looking at the coaching staff for this in junior hockey here in Canada, Ross, in Quebec, the QMHL, the Quebec Junior Major Hockey League. Back in the 90s, there was 2 great programs: the Hall Olympics, the Gatineau Olympics, and the Laval Titans. And a lot of these coaches came out of those organizations. Alain Vigneault, Hall Olympics. For some of his assistants is Michel Terrien, used to coach in Laval. So Yo is also one of the assistants in Philly. Montreal, Claude Julien, Gatineau guy. So a lot of Gatineau, Laval connections here and behind the bench. A lot of, and if you ever watch junior hockey in Canada in the Quebec Major Junior, it was something to see in the 90s. Really rough, and like you go to a game, there was like 5 fights in the first 10 minutes. It was unbelievable. The barns were always rocking. Is unbelievable atmosphere. And I know the public is going to be all over the Canadiens. The price will be right. It is right at plus 170. However, right now, the only thing missing for Philadelphia in the last 5-10 years has been goaltending. I heard on the weekend, last time they got a Stanley Cup, Ron Hextall was in nets. Well, they got, was it Corey Hart back in nets now? I know Hart. I don't know if it's Corey. Carter Hart, sorry. Man, Corey Hart, another Montreal connection. Carter Hart for the Philadelphia Flyers. He's been solid. He's been absolutely solid. I know Montreal's the easy pick here as an upset underdog, but it's not happening. Philadelphia, they got too much talent up front. You got Giroux, you got Courrier, Couturier, you got Kornecki's been playing good. The back end for the Flyers is solid. Give me, I'm taking Philly here. It's going to be a long one, 6-7, but I think Philly.
I think the only reason why I would hesitate is because of Carey Price. But I think Philadelphia wins this series, but not as easily as that minus 200 price would indicate. You mentioned the Flyers, Alain Vigneault, the head coach, the assistant coach, Michel Therrien, you said?
Yeah.
So really intriguing, right, Ron? You got the head coach and the assistant coach for Philadelphia, former head bosses in Montreal, head coaches in Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And then also you got Claude Julien, who's on his second stint as the Montreal Canadiens coach. So very intriguing from that aspect.
Yeah, if you want to play Jeopardy and you want to make a lot of money, just name us the backup goaltender of Montreal. If you pick Charlie Lindgren, you're right. But Brian Elliott is the backup here for Philadelphia. That's the only if Carter Hart goes down and Brian Elliott has to come in. And good for Vigneault for putting Elliott in the second game there a couple of nights ago, get him some playing time because it'll give the team confidence if he has to go in. But I see the Flyers winning a long one. This is going to be a long series. The depth of the Flyers up front. Montreal, they got a great defensive back. You look at their back three, like Petry's been absolutely awesome. Weber, Sherratt, Kulak, Xavier Ouellet, Mete. Like Montreal, they've looked really good in their series against Pittsburgh. No one expected them to beat the Penguins. They did. But if Montreal wins, they're going to have the right price. They're going to have to ride the big three on D. But it's not happening. I think Flyers win this one.
This is one of those series. If the Flyers can get by this series, which they should, it might be a tough one. They're going to be a very tough out going forward in the Eastern Conference portion of the playoffs.
Yeah, and the final one, Ross, St. Louis Blues minus 220 against the Canucks. This St. Louis team right now is looking a bit fragile. They're not, they lost yesterday to Dallas. They're not looking very dominant right now. Looking at Vancouver, they haven't, they beat Arizona or not Arizona, Minnesota in their series. Looking at their, Jacob Markstrom, not very inconsistent, I find. St. Louis is going to win this. Going to probably go to 6 games, but give me the Blues minus 220.
Yeah, too much playoff experience, too much experience in general. I'm surprised they got by an experienced Minnesota team, but Minnesota's not St. Louis, right, Ryan?
Oh, absolutely.
I'd be very surprised if this went beyond 6 games.
Yeah, Jordan Binnington. He's looked shaky at times, but he still has that experience. Give me St. Louis here. And you know what? I'll probably just enjoy it as a fan and probably won't even play it. All right, Ross, let's talk about our free picks.
I lost you, Ron. I don't see you on the other side of the screen.
Oh, you lost me here? Hang on here. Let me share the screen here. Okay. I don't know what's going on with my video here.
All right, no problem. Let's move on.
All right. I'll just do a share screen and we'll talk about. Am I sharing the screen right now?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yeah, it's just I'm seeing the MLB board on your.
All right.
website.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But okay. All right, Ross, we'll let you kick it off.
All right, so I'm going to look at the Oakland A's at the LA Angels tonight, 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time scheduled start. Right now, as we speak, the best line I've found was the Oakland A's, currently at minus 123 on the money line. This is an A's team, Ron. It's won 9 straight games. Sean Manaea goes on the hill for the Oakland A's. He's had a rough start to the season with an over 8 ERA, which is extremely high. But keep in mind, folks, this current LA Angels roster is a combined 14-465 against Manaea. That's a 215 team batting average. Not very good. Since last year, Oakland 26-9 in the month of August. Oakland's bullpen just terrific this year, a 136 ERA. Over their last 7 games, the Oakland relievers have a combined 0.69 ERA. You can compare that to the LA Angels, their bullpen at home, a 5.51 ERA and a whopping 177 whip. And this LA Angels team is coming off a demoralizing sweep at Texas in their last series. And Ron, I have a nice money line betting angle here on the Oakland A's. Oakland's coming off that 3-game sweep against divisional rival Houston, and then also I just mentioned that the LA Angels were swept by division rival Texas over the weekend. Anytime you have a Major League Baseball road team like the Oakland A's that are coming off 2 straight division home wins, which they swept Houston in 3 games over the weekend at home, and they're facing an opponent coming off a 3-game series in which they were swept by a division opponent. Those road teams have gone 29-8 against the money line since 1997. That's 78.9%. Couple that with everything else I talked about. Give me the Oakland A's. I know they're going to be a public play tonight, but I got to – sometimes the public's right, and I think this is one of those times. I'm going with Oakland minus 123 at the LA Angels as my free pick on Monday, August the, 10th?
Yeah, August 10th. All right, I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox, Ross. I'm going to take the value. We're getting good value on the Boston Red Sox. Looking at the price here, we're getting about plus 130 here. Let me see here. Plus about 125 right now on the Boston Red Sox. I think we're in a classic letdown spot here for the Tampa Bay Rays, coming off a good series against the New York Yankees. They haven't done well on the road. 0-3 on the road against LA East division opponents. Teams at home against the Tampa Bay Rays this season, 5-0 straight up. And for the Tampa Bay Rays, 0-3 against. Let me see here, 0-3 against the division opponents this year. So give me the Boston Red Sox plus 125, and that's my free play here today on the Rain Report with Ross Benjamin. All right. You still hear me, Ross?
I do, and I like that play, by the way.
Awesome. All right, Ross. So, again, people, if you're interested in the Rain Report, you can find us here each and every day at atsstats.com or on our YouTube channel. You can find Ross Benjamin at OSGA on YouTube or at rbwins.com. And, Ross, any final note?
Yeah, you can go to my website, rbwins.com. There you'll find all my paid selections on a daily basis, as well as discounted subscription packages. And you could also get my picks at atsstats.com. Don't forget, folks, you can view this show on the OSGA or Raymond Report YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, we would highly encourage you to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing, no strings attached. You'll get notified right away upon any of these shows being published. And you could also get my videos on OSGA, my personal videos, and Ron's personal videos at the Raymond Report YouTube channel as well.
For Ross Benjamin, I'm Ron Raymond. This was the Raymond Report for Monday, August 10th. Have yourself a good one. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report.
Are you there? Hello? Ron. Yeah. 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 No, whatever you need to do. Okay, just let me know. Yeah, I'm sorry about that phone mishap too. You know, I just gotta remember to turn it off. You know, that was stupid on my part. All right, bud. Just let me know because I gotta shoot a video for myself. Right? You do me a favor. Give me like 10 minutes so I can shoot a video for myself. I'll call you right after I'm done with this. Okay? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.